0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?
All right, man. How's it going?
We out here?
We're out here. Had a really good Bible study this morning, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
So we started this channel, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Something about that.
We were down for a week because we got hacked. We didn't really talk about that. It's crazy how we put Josh's phone number up on every time so that you guys can call in and leave a voicemail, participate. No one does it. But a couple of you guys tried to hack the shit out of us. Shut our whole operation down for over a week.
He killed all 62 viewers.
63, dog.
Oh,
Moving on.
I hadn't seen it since it had been hacked.
But we've been doing it for a few weeks now. And, dude, thousands of views. Between shorts, between the long-form videos, thousands of people have seen us bullshit about goofy stuff, and I have loved every moment of it. You been having fun?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. We also have another kind of show we have on YouTube. It's called Consider the Truth. And we try to do it weekly, but, every week, every couple of weeks, we do a Bible study.
It looks like we do it once every 4 months.
We went on a little bit of a hiatus. It's just harder to get 4 people together, and it's harder to get 4 believers together that are going to sit down for an hour and, busy lives too. Everyone's got kids now, but we got 9 followers on that channel. And Jamal and I were having a conversation the other day, and we kind of jokingly said, Jesus doesn't sell. All this other stuff does. We've talked about Barron Trump's marvelous time machine adventures. We've talked about Epstein. We've talked about aliens. And we've talked about Donald Trump's the discombobulator.
The discombobulator.
We've talked, and again, we appreciate. Just to start off, I truly, and I'm sure Josh does, and everyone that participates, truly appreciates any time you take out of your day to check us out, to watch anything we create. But dude, it's kind of crazy that, it's easy. We can sit here and talk about all the distractions and everything like that, but we can't sit down and talk about the word. And when we do, and I know the point isn't to get out there and have that, right? We do want to get the word out there, but it's not to concentrate on how many followers and how many people it touches, just to plant seeds and keep on going on as we go, right? But what do you think? What is that?
What is that? What do you mean? What is that?
As far as the whole idea of just no one really talking about it. I'm seeing it more and more, which is really, it feels good to see people talk about Jesus, talk about religion, talk about real stuff other than the distraction, the BS we see every day, the aliens, Now, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's war. As we're recording this, Mexico's on fire right now because of cartels. We've got warships in Iran. Dude, the Epstein files, I get it. It's real stuff. It's crazy stuff. We're finding out all sorts of stuff. We're being lied to every day, in my opinion. There's a lot of it's just distraction.
What do you mean by more, though? What do you mean? You don't hear people talking about what and what particularly don't you hear people talking about?
Just the Bible. Being bold in Christ and and again, it's different we talk about it every day. there's many conversations throughout the day, and we're blessed to be able to have a good group of guys around and stuff like that. And we've made it a focus and how we live our lives and everything like that.
I don't know that there's not a focus. There's churches on every corner.
I got you.
So I don't know that there's not a focus on that. Western civilization is founded on the baseline principle, regardless of like all the 37 different viewpoints. They're all founded on the idea of Jesus. Mm-hmm. I think that's not.
As Brother Rico put it, the Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, like whatever. There's maybe more broad than that. So if you're in, so you got to go back to the start. There, until Moses comes along and has his 10 commandments, anybody that's in charge of a kingdom, the king is like a god.
Yeah.
He's a god king. His role is different. It's the idea that, okay, because of genetics, somehow this guy is more important than another guy. And the earth follows that curve and that trajectory for a long time. Like, first it's the guy who can beat everybody up. Like,
Yeah.
you're not different than the lion who comes in and says, this is my territory. When we evolve from that, then cleverness gets involved, and then you can trick the other guy, but that's a human layer, right? Or maybe some animals can be more clever. But then it becomes, once there's an established power, there's a leader that unifies people under him, and he grabs control. Somewhere along the way, they make him divine.
Okay.
All right, and until you get to Moses, there's not an idea that a king or a leader isn't not divine.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And even like through the bloodline, and even in our popular writings as far as like fantasy, I know the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that's based, not Lord of the Rings, but what was that, Game of Thrones,
Game of Thrones, same
stuff
kind
like
of deal.
that.
Yeah.
Kind of loosely based on the War of the Roses and stuff. But that whole idea of bloodline, the whole idea of like, especially the wackadoo stuff, they keep it pure and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, then comes along Moses, and he puts forth a different kind of law. A law that he doesn't say it's his law.
Yeah.
He accredits this to a higher power. He goes on a mountain, he meets this higher power, and he receives this law, and then he accredits that law to this higher power. Well, that's going to actually change. That's really the establishment of where Western civilization is going to arc in. Like, we tell this story that probably our idea of Western civilization starts at the Magna Carta, but the Magna Carta is just another updated version,
Expansion of the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, and then you look at the United States Constitution. So two things there. One, let's not take it out of context. What it is, it's the Constitution to a country of people in 1400 BC.
Yeah.
And that's how it exists. But in the realm of its writing, documentation, like, hey, this is pretty cool. I mean, it's groundbreaking at the time. It's like the Constitution. It's groundbreaking. This is different. Every Western civilization government starts there. I went to 10 Commandments in school. Well, that starts because that's the foundational basis of what we refer to as a Western idea.
Gotcha.
Now, it does not start in the West, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
they're not in the West, but this is really going to continue to lay the framework.
That is the groundwork that our civilization is built on.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Then you get to the Roman Empire time period, right? And Rome is this dictatorship that ultimately has to cave to the pressure of this Christianity movement that's happening. And is such a big movement that it politically overtakes an empire. Like, dude, that's impressive. So you converted so many people that you overtook an empire and forced the empire to change.
Yeah.
Okay. That empire had a lot of Jesus injected into it. The laws that you benefit from today of humanity had a lot of Jesus injected into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, arguably they took all those ideas and just adopted it anyways and kind of put their stuff into that. Same. It's,
Either way, what difference does that make to man? That's like, and I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time, but we do this a lot, and I've been guilty of this in the past. We're going to sit here and be like, oh, Christmas, oh, not Christmas, oh, Christmas, oh, not Christmas, oh. Man, y'all are lost.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us, right? So we got to chill out. Do we even know the next step?
Again, we talk about the not having those vain arguments.
Yeah, it's just completely...
It's vanity.
Okay.
It means nothing.
So regardless, right,
Yeah.
a lot of Jesus gets injected into the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
which lays the foundation for medieval Europe, which they fly Christian banners and they fly Christian flags. And then when it comes overseas and it lands here in America, it's to try to get more freedom in religion and more freedom in expression, but not in a way that is anything but more Christian, right?
Yeah.
Now, you look around this country, there's a lot. I think a lot of people do talk about it. I think it is the center of, like, you'll meet people, especially specifically in America, that 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you, yeah, when I was a kid, I went to this church or I went to that church. That's a normal
thing. No,
Yeah.
I get you. In a lot of areas and stuff like that.
And I don't think that there's a lot of people that you're going to talk to that are going to sit, like, if you begin to have that conversation with them, are going to be like, oh man, I know this, or I know, right? So what happens is, I think people think that instead of impressing upon them that it's a relationship that's individual, we have this idea that it's collective. We have this idea that collectively we've got to do this.
Yeah.
Collectively.
No, I get you.
But each servant is an individual, right? So
Well, and
I don't think the conversation is not happening. I think the conversation is too focused on the collective and not enough focused on the individual.
And admittedly, part of that may also be because, again, I had exposure to it as a young kid. The Bible, Sunday school stories of Noah's Ark and everything like that, Admittedly, one of my biggest memories of church was getting goldfish crackers and diet caffeine-free Pepsi in the basement of a church.
A baby's mind can't take much.
I feel
a young
you.
kid's mind can't
No,
take
I
much.
get you. But there was a point in my life where I also would walk past you having a conversation and scoff and say, I don't need to be talking all this Jesus talk, you churchies. Like, just keep on keeping on. And again, to go back, admittedly, it may also be because relatively recently, in the last couple of years, I've gone through, I've read the Word, we've had these Bible studies. I've made it a much bigger part of my life, and I've opened up my heart and my ears and my eyes. So I am now seeing it, whereas before I was shunning away. I didn't want to see it. But I look at the things in my mind. And again, shame on me now realizing, keeping me from God and stuff. The corruption in the church that you see. Catholicism, still confounds me in a lot of ways. I've also learned that, hey, it's not my place. If you are calling out to the I am and you are trying to have a relationship with Jesus, it is not my place to tell you how to do that.
Correct. So to your point, that I think you're nailing the point. Look, there's a lot of talk about collective belief, which is unnecessary because we're not going to be judged as a collective. And we don't spend enough time talking about individual belief. Like, why do we care about that big debate? Is God three, the Trinity? Is he one?
Yeah.
Is he the Son? Is he the Father? Was he a created being? Was he not a created being? This is not conversation that benefits anybody, because it has to do with you're just trying to get somebody to agree with whatever it is that you think. The truth of that is that what we should be showing people is how it's individual with God. First of all, don't go and ask a man.
Yeah.
Pray, fast, and read your book, right? Don't go to another man and ask. And if you do, maybe he has what he prays, fast, and read about, right? And he's at a certain step in his understanding, and you're at a different step in your understanding. And what you usually find is that one guy's advanced, one guy's behind, so the circle is doing this, and then you're creating confusion. Look, this is an individual process, not a collective process.
Just to point out, and I'm not,
Yeah.
trying to like, we've been buddies for a long time, but when I started reading the Bible, something I appreciate, especially the way you approached it with me, was you let me read it and then talked about it with me and asked me what I thought about it. And then you had times where you were like, man, I can't wait till you get to this part because I want to talk to you about it. But I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want to tell you what to think. So with that said, how do you feel about, like, you see these like study Bibles, these guys that make these books that are like study material that tell you how to do it, and then they're profiting off of this. Like, and I'm not throwing shade or trying to like get anyone riled up about that.
Okay.
For me, it seems very conflicting. Like, I don't want to monetize our Bible study because we have jobs. God blessed us with capabilities. We're very talented at what we do. I don't need to try to monetize the Bible.
Okay.
And I know we've talked about it in the past where, the whole idea of the church and why people like paid into it and stuff was because that was your sole purpose. That was what you were doing. So to like be clothed and fed and housed and stuff like that. But then you get to a point where it becomes, again, it's when I look at Western Christianity here in the United States, a lot of it seems very much like it's a business first, even in the way they protect their people as far as when there are wrongdoings and stuff like that. That happens more in Catholicism, but it happens in Christianity too, like general Christianity.
Okay.
It seems like it's not just the religion. I mean, dude, it's everything in this world is so business oriented first. I'm trying to make as much money as I can, and I will do whatever it takes to protect that money from running out or being taken away, even if that means I'm going to do these nefarious things.
If you got hungry tonight,
yeah,
there's no money left in your bank account. You
it
called.
Sounds really real, bro.
You called me up. I said, dude, I don't have anything. Your cell phone dies. You go out to start your truck. It can't start. You're starving. Are you going to beg for food?
Would I beg for food?
Mm-hmm. Like, are you going to go to the corner gas station and say, hey, man, you got $5. You're going to spill your story?
I'll tell you what, man. I know you're setting up like a kind of a scenario, but I just honestly, I'm so blessed to have, like, my blessings have been the people around me and who God's put in my path, because we have set up a community. And
Well, let's say that that's just not an option, right?
so I'm a man on an island.
You're a
Would
man
I
on
go
an
beg?
island. Yep.
I mean, if it's life or death, I don't.
You answered your question right there. That's what I wanted to hear you say, if it's life or death. One thing that we make a huge mistake about, I think, this is my opinion. I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but that's all right.
It's coming anyway.
So, Jesus has a conversation with Nicodemus.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, would you look that up real quick? He's having a conversation with Nicodemus. Nicodemus is he's a religious leader, and particularly
Where it's at?
in Judea, Gospel, go to Matthew. Particularly in Judea, Rome is occupying the territory, but Rome's really just interested in like keeping the peace, collecting taxes, and they kind of work like the United States federal government. Hey, you have to operate within inside of these laws, but here are some restrictions. Here are some here are some things that'll, you can do and you can't do. And one of the things that was very important to the Jewish people was their customs and their culture. And the Romans understood this, that these people had a strict diet. They had a certain way they cut their hair. They did not work on the Sabbath. So Rome respected kind of these laws, but in their culture, the priest really ran the place instead of the government. So it was a religious setup, if you will. It was, there's a name for it, one of the archies, like a monarchy or whatever. I just can't remember what the name for a religious one is right now. But I think it's called a theocracy. So it's kind of like that kind of deal, right? Like they're in charge. So there's this guy Nicodemus, and he's the head.
Do you know where?
He's
in
one of the
Matthew
head
it is?
dudes. Man, I really don't off the top of my head. Just Google it real quick. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
on
just
for a
keep
second while you hit the Goog.
Hit it with Goog.
So Nicodemus comes to Jesus by night because this is kind of a contentious thing amongst the leaders, because he's kind of a rebel, right? Like, he's saying these rousing things. He speaks with a lot of authority, and really what's happening is people are beginning to listen to him, and they don't know this guy. He's not risen through their ranks. He's not following them. They know about this crazy guy John the Baptist, and John the Baptist has kind of blessed Jesus, so now this is kind of becoming a deal. So he's done a few miracles, and this Nicodemus guy wants to know what's going on. So he comes to Jesus by night, and he sits with him, and Jesus says that you have to be born again.
I know where you're going now.
Okay.
I know where that is.
All right. So when he says you have to be born again, Nicodemus is puzzled. He's confused. He's like, I got to be born again. This doesn't make any sense. What do you mean I got to be born again?
Gotcha.
Can I re-enter my mother's womb and
Here we
come
go.
back out? And Jesus hits him with this,
I got it right here.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for every man to put away his wife for a cause? Oh, wait, hang on. That's not it. It is, but it's not there. You. Keep going.
I can sum up the story,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's fine. Just make sure that when you find it, you give us the verse. That way people can go back and read.
Yeah.
So Jesus says, Nicodemus says, I got to go back into my mother's womb and come back out. He's kind of confused by the whole stance that Jesus is taking. And the stance that Jesus says next is that you have to be, well, first he says, you're a teacher of the law and you don't know this, because this is something that should have been understood from the beginning, not something that they should still be learning, right? This was baby milk stuff. And here's the guy who's in charge of the people, and he's confused by this statement. But to this day, lots of people are confused by this statement. He says, you must be born of water and of spirit.
So it's in John.
So he's talking about two baptisms, right? Baptism is death and rebirth. So he says you must be born of the water. So this refers to John's baptism that he's giving, right? You're gonna go down in the water. You're gonna come out washed. You're gonna be clean. You're gonna be new. But then he's talking about another kind of baptism. But go ahead and hit that first.
Well, it's John 3:3-8. Jesus answered unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus saith unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? And Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I say unto thee, Ye must be born again. The wind blows where it goes, and you hear the sound of it, but you can't tell where it came from or where it goes. So is everyone that is born into the Spirit.
Amen. You can pause it right there. So let's talk about that for a second. So born of the water is a simple one. It's a water baptism.
I understand.
32 souls went down in the water. Okay.
Down to the water.
So you gotta be dipped in the water. Now, I'm not gonna get into a controversial debate of I don't believe that. Man, look, it's individual, it's not collective. I'm just going off of what this said, right? Certainly, when it comes to the technicalities of that, whatever be the case. But I will tell you this, somebody that's going to fill the next part probably will just do the first part, right? And that's the Spirit.
Yeah.
So you have to be reborn of Spirit. So what the Bible tells us is that you have to repent.
To turn around.
It means to turn around.
Pop a 180.
It means to change your mind.
Yeah. Change your heart. Change the way you.
Change your mind.
Yeah.
My heart just beats blood, right? Remember, when they talk about heart, it's because they don't understand your brain is in your head, right?
Gotcha, okay.
So you
Fair enough.
put in context. This is important to when we read the book. Like, help it. This is why I'm going to get to your point about study here in
Yeah.
just a second. This is why I'm going to defend him, and then you're going to be mad. So you have to get to the point where
Fantastic.
when they say change your heart, they think because they can feel this thing beating, this is the operating system.
Yeah, no.
We now know it means
It's-
change your brain.
Your mind. I got
Okay. Whenever you see somebody that gets some sort of brain disease or brain cancer or dementia or Alzheimer's or that, what's frustrating to those people is that inside they know what they want.
The person's still there. The operating.
The operating system went bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the operating system went bad, then you are not your brain. If the person inside is still there and can't get out,
Yeah.
that's your spirit. So your spirit has to be reborn, because until you have had your encounter with Jesus, as Paul did on the road to Damascus, right? Now, it's not for everybody going to be a blinding event
Yeah.
with witnesses.
I feel you, man.
Mine happened in a closet, right? One-on-one. Okay. But once you have that moment and you meet him, that is the rebirth of your spirit, not some sort of speaking in tongues, not some sort of, right? Like I'm not
No,
to each their
yeah.
own. What I'm trying to tell you though is that moment when he approaches, that's the moment, right? That's the moment that now you have had, and you don't have to do them in any order. Some people get that spirit one first, and then they go, put me down in the water, right? And some people get that water one first, and it takes a while for that spirit to get coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So men operating in the flesh. What did he? I didn't want you to. I shouldn't have had you close that.
It's
So
okay.
he mentions something at the very end that's the most important, which is where I think most of us struggle with understanding the concepts of what he's saying, and we want to look at it individually, not collectively. Let's not use a collective mind here, but read that last part to me again.
Marvel not that I said unto
Marvel
you.
not that I said unto you.
You must be born again.
Okay, why?
Why?
Yeah, what does he say?
Because the wind blows where it goes.
No, give me the part about flesh, where he said the flesh.
That which is born of the flesh is flesh. That which is born of the spirit is spirit.
Okay, so that's what's born of the flesh is at enmity
No, I get you.
against the Most High. Mm-hmm. And is appointed to man once to die, to shed the flesh. Okay, but if the spirit has not changed, then it doesn't go back in to the flesh,
I got you.
right? Because that died, right? So that we don't give enough credit to the spirit that moves us rather than the flesh that moves us. All right, now people are going to get real mad at what I say next,
Okay.
including you.
Hit me with
Okay.
it. Let them motherfuckers
In my-
write their books.
In my flesh, I fight to do and not to do the will of God.
I do what I don't want to do daily.
Don't
and
do what I do
don't
want to do. Paul.
do what I want to do.
Okay. That's my flesh.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. When temptation comes, I don't care who you are. The flesh is a powerful device.
Oh, yeah.
The brain is wired in a way that it has desires.
We joke about it, although it's a serious thing.
It's
all
a
the
serious
time.
thing, okay?
King David, a man after God's own heart,
Look down on Bathsheba.
saw them cheeks and just went on running, sent a man to die.
Then they must have been a set of cheeks.
Oh my God,
Okay.
good Lord.
So, at the same time, we're flesh. What happens to us is our spirit cries out when we do wrong because our spirit doesn't want that flesh. A lot of people think this is going to get fixed. It's all they've ever known. It's a fair assessment. It's all they've ever done. Ed, it's all I've ever known.
You.
It's
But
all you've ever known.
At what point of our lives do we understand that? I mean,
We hope that we meet.
Dude, there's
we
more-
hope that we meet Jesus.
well, yeah. I mean, there's a point where you understand your mortality. It's not. This isn't forever. I'm not forever. You're
Only
not
the
forever.
Spirit can reveal that to you. A man can have that idea, but he cannot have that belief without that encounter.
When I got to my biggest and I started getting sick and I was at the hospital every 2 months because I thought I was having heart attacks, and I got to my lowest of my low with how my health was and my weight and how I was living my life, is when I finally gave up and gave in and gave that over to the Lord and said, I can't do this on my own.
So the first thing he did was save your life.
Yeah,
That was his first act, was to save your life.
absolutely.
Okay. So only the Spirit could reveal that realness to you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You, Philip's he sees an Ethiopian man reading the book, and
Yeah.
he says, "Can I come join you?" And the Ethiopian man says, "Come join." And he sits down and he says, "Do you understand that?" And the guy says, "Who could understand this?" It's an honest statement.
Yeah.
You read this book, but the book didn't do you no good if you weren't visited with the Spirit.
Oh, we touched that on our Bible study this morning.
Water, Spirit.
Yeah.
We can surrender our flesh to the best of our might, and we should daily, because we are servants, and in this operating system, as I like to call it, we should fight this flesh daily, but it is also at enmity against him. So we need the Spirit sometimes to come in and straighten us out, right? To pounce us. And sometimes we don't like the way that looks. Sometimes that's poverty because we don't know how to manage money correctly. And I'm not talking about putting it in 401ks. I'm talking about using it for nefarious things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and again, that's the other thing is sometimes you don't. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell my ailments, right? And that's my physical ailments.
Okay.
But I also wasn't a spiritual person to begin with anyway, so how could I even know that I was spiritually unwell?
Well, you had no idea. You
I had
thought it
no
all
idea.
came from your brain.
That's-
And
I
then you
was
thought
doing
when
it
your
on my
eggs
own.
were scrambled.
I was out here running the world. and
One thing
winning
I
the
always tell
world and
people
stuff,
is
you
that,
know?
like, if you run into somebody somebody with a medical condition that causes them to be scrambled in their mind,
Yeah.
that's a medical condition. How could that be their soul?
I've seen it, dude.
It's
You've
impossible,
seen it, you've
right?
lived it.
Yep.
I mean, it's
So
crazy.
we are too set up in the flesh. So
All right.
our flesh still wants to please him. Our flesh, especially my flesh gets arrogant wanting to please him. And that's in my flesh. Now my spirit's burning inside too. And it's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden my flesh wants to please him. And I'm like, you know what? I got a great idea, guys. I'm going to write a book.
I'm gonna write a book.
I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a study
We've
book.
come full circle.
I'm going to tell everybody everything that I've ever learned. And Ed, there's absolutely nothing wrong
There's
with that.
nothing wrong with that.
Okay, now what happens is people have differing point of views because they have walked from different points of life. And what upsets you is that when it's not in the living word, then it becomes man's words. And when man misspeaks, it rubs you the wrong way. Okay, there's people watching this right now that are going to be, I've just rubbed them so incoherently the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a heretic. Look, it's individual, it's not collective. We're not doing this together. You're going to have to seek your own path. Now, we are responsible for being a light because there's something that light does more than the book does. Me and Rico and Jamal were being a light, and you tried to avoid it and you flew into it like the bug zapper.
Well, no, I
You
feel
didn't
you.
fly into the book. Jeremy had given you one of those a long time ago.
I lost it in a move about 5 years ago.
Okay. What you did was you got sick and you said, those guys got some sort of spirit I don't got, and I need to figure out what it is. And you flew into the bug zapper. And this is why it's more important for us to impress our light. Let the Spirit work through us and impress that. Be knowledgeable. Read the book. That way you can have this conversation with anybody and you can be prepared and educate yourself. And if you're a great writer, write a book. If you're a great movie maker, make a movie. If you make beautiful music, make beautiful music.
If you're a mediocre YouTube star,
Then be a mediocre
up there,
YouTube
man.
star. Right? Like, man, if y'all want to talk about Anunnaki and aliens and you want to chop up Genesis chapter 6 and you want to get deep into what demons are and you want to get into all that and you want to talk about that, okay. But what does that have to do with shining our light? Right? This is not what we're supposed to do. We would be better served to be ignorant and dumb but charitable.
yeah,
Running around with the name of Jesus with no knowledge but charity being our forefront than we would loaded with knowledge telling people about Nephilim that lived 4,000 years ago that could be somewhere caught between the context of writing and that there is some sort of interdimensional being. And honestly, they're probably going to use this to trick you and tell you there's interdimensional aliens, right? So
there is.
what does this have
chance
to
that that's
do
gonna happen.
with the nation of Israel, the priest, right? I tell people this all the time. This really messes them up when they say, well, what are you? What do you believe in? I say, I'm Israel. I'm a priest called to the people to shine my light.
Wait,
I belong to him.
Hang on, you're Jewish?
No, I'm Israel.
What does that mean?
So you belong to him. You've been circumcised in the heart. He's changed the spirit. So you've been born again, as they say. You went down in the water. The spirit is reborn. And now you're one of his shining lights as an example.
But I'm going to play the advocate real quick, and I heard that Israel is Judaism, right?
Judaism?
Yeah, like Jews, the Jews, that's Israel.
Israel in the sense in what BC area time period or what 80 time period do you want to
like
talk
today, like the country, they're Jewish, right? So
about? There's lots of Jewish people in today's country of Israel.
okay,
Not all of them are Ashkenazi Jews.
okay,
Because you will hear that a lot. Some of them are Sephardic Jews. Some of them are the Jews that never left. There's a lot of Arab people that live in the region. The nation of Israel that you see today is a country.
yes,
It's a country that adopted the name Israel because it's paying homage to what they believe is their history.
okay,
The current religion of Judaism is a whole different category. Yeah, like the best way that I can probably explain it is, as we talked about before, the Bible is a set of covenants. The Bible is a set of 6 covenants. He made the earth in 6 days. On the 7th, he rested, right?
Yeah.
We're in the 6th covenant. So Judaism, because my understanding when I talk to most Jewish people is they feel that Jesus was a rebel who got killed for the trouble he caused to the Roman government. He got killed for his efforts. And they don't really put him beyond that. He's a guy that tried to cause, and it was popular to cause a rebellion back then. They were under Roman occupation. So Jesus was a Jewish rebel that got killed for his causes of action.
I mean, I think this is kind of
Which is why they want to rebuild a temple, but that has more to do with Judaism. The country of Israel is an established country to give Jewish people equal representation in a country where there was no leader or king to try to balance it. But then the Arab Muslims and the Palestinians and the Jews couldn't get along because their religious beliefs affect their laws. So how they're going to vote and what kind of laws and rules they're going to pass. So it became a problem of it was like a black-white problem in America.
Yeah.
Same deal, like you took 2 groups of people, you made them mesh. Eventually there's going to be civil war. This has lasted a little bit longer because it has more religious ties, and no side has definitively won that battle. I mean, they might be winning it definitively right now, but they haven't completely done that. So that's a whole nother.
And I guess where I was drawn to, and again, I know we've talked about this. I was just playing the advocate a little bit there. But when we talk about Israel in the Bible, it's not. We're not talking about Israel the state.
Depending
necessarily.
on what time period you're talking, but Israel is Jacob's name is changed to Israel.
Yes.
It's a sign of his salvation.
He who wrestles with God.
Yeah, he wrestled with God.
Yeah, he wrestled with God.
And then it was a sign of his salvation.
Yeah.
So changing his name from Jacob to Israel, he who struggles with God, is why he says, "Hear, O sons of Jacob, hear Israel," right?
Yeah.
When they were born unto him, he was Jacob. But now he represents something bigger. He represents a spiritual understanding of the Most High. Okay, and he needs to pass that on to his kids. So Israel, in its most sense, it's the nation that was established for the I Am to run.
Yeah.
It's just that Jacob's early on in the process. Okay, he establishes that nation through. It's the same parable he tells about a vineyard. People don't ever think about the vineyard parable this deep, but if you think about the vineyard parable this deep, this is what the Spirit teaches you. And sometimes somebody could write that what I'm about to say down in a book, and it might be okay. All right. So the vineyard is Israel.
Okay.
Because if you go back to Shem, Ham, and Japheth,
Real quick, just the vineyard is, there's a vineyard owner that had moved away and he was paying people to run the vineyard, and then he had sent his servant to collect, and they beat him up and sent him away. And then he sent another servant, and they wound up beating that guy up and sent him away. And then he said, they've done that twice. Now I'm going to send my son, and surely they'll, pay up. Well, his son shows up. The vineyard, people running the vineyard said, hey, this is the heir to the vineyard. If we kill him, we can take the vineyard for ourselves.
Aha. So you just told the entire story of the Bible in a parable from Jesus,
And that's
right?
why that dude talked in parables, dog.
Okay, yes. Parabola is very important because it can help you understand. Jesus was so advanced, he could tell you the entire story in a short clip, right? So the vineyard is Israel's. That's Israel. That's the vineyard. Shem, Ham, and Japheth were told to divide the world. That's how they were told to do. They were told to divide it.
Yeah.
Shem, you go this
that
way.
way, go that way, go
Ham,
that
you
way.
go this way. Japheth, you go that way. Okay. There's even a point where Noah says, if you don't do this, you're going to be cursed. Genesis 40, no, not that late. Genesis maybe, I don't know. We'll try to post them.
Yeah.
All right, so he tells him, don't go into this other land, you'll be cursed. That's because God had deemed where Israel was going to be at all times. Most likely that's where the Garden of Eden is, right? Because it says he was the original owner. And then he had to go away. And so he leased it out. Okay. One of Ham's descendants, Canaan, says, I like this land, and he takes it. That's why it's called the land of Canaan. That's why the people there are called the Canaanites.
Yeah.
But they're improperly dwelling in land that they are not supposed to be dwelling in because it should have went to one of the Shemite tribes. Okay, so we can quickly figure out what that is, right? That's before Abraham arrives. Hey, all right. So first he sends Abraham, but famine runs him off to, that family off to Egypt.
Yeah.
Moses gathers them. Moses takes them in the land, right? They conquer the land, but the prophet comes and they kill him. The prophet comes and they kill him. The prophet comes and they kill him. Then he says, okay, I'm going to send my own son because you guys are leasing my land. This is my vineyard. And the son is the inheritor of the vineyard. He's the inheritor of Israel. So he's coming, and they have the great idea. You said it. If we kill him,
We inherit the land.
it's ours.
It's ours.
Because he's the king. If he's dead, then there's no one for the Father to give it to. Well, the trick was on them. In 3 days he rose again, right? So when we talk about Israel, to say that God is maybe not interested in a piece of land would probably be a big mistake, right? There is an interest
Yes.
that he has
With-
in this particular geography.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what Jesus explains, though, is that there is no Greek, there is no Jew. This is not a thing, right? There's no Greek, there's no Jew. It's not a thing. So Israel as a people before had to be circumcised. You had to drop trowel and show what was up, bro.
Yeah, I know.
So drop that trowel. Let me see. Okay.
Fail on that test, big dog.
But now we're circumcised in our hearts. So we don't need to show anybody else. Only the Most High needs to check.
Again, going back to that
Okay.
singular.
But if your heart is checked, then you are a citizen of Israel,
Gotcha.
making you an Israeli, right? Because you are going to adopt the 10 Commandments into your heart. You are going to do the things that you were supposed to do. You are going to be the light to the world, the priest to the world that you were supposed to be.
Write the word on your heart.
Yeah. And when he returns, those servants found doing what they were supposed to be doing while he was gone, because when that owner comes, if there were servants doing right, and they had nothing to do with killing the prophets.
That's how that parable ends, is surely what will happen when the owner actually shows up to reap.
The day of the Lord. And
the day of the Lord.
But if you're a servant shining your light, found doing what you're supposed to do, instead of being scared of that moment, there's an inheritance for you.
Oh,
And that's
I've already said that.
That
dude.
geographical area, and maybe it means more than that, is so. Now, as for like the geopolitics of the world and them fighting over there, this is a bigger war than that. This war is not against each other. That's us being silly.
Yeah.
This war is against those that still believe that because he's gone, it's theirs, and those of us that understand that this was a great resource to share. This earth is a great resource to share. It's a beautiful place.
8 people got off that
Okay,
boat, bro.
it does give us thorns and thistles now.
Yeah.
And we have to put in some work to do it. But that work defines our character, and we show our charity and our equitableness through that work. Instead, we said, well, if I got to work here, I'm going to conquer. And now that the master's away, who's going to put me in check for my conquering? And that's what you're living in now. But those of us, it says the poor will be here with you always, brother.
Oh.
Those of us on the bottom we're blessed because we don't, first of all, we're like the guys that when they made the decision to kill him, we were like, well, we don't think you should kill him. We think it's a bad idea. So when the owner of the vineyard comes, he's not going to hold accountable those of us that they also oppressed in the vineyard, right?
Yeah.
Like he's going to liberate us and understand that those that were allowed to be in charge were afoul. So your flesh is going to want you to do all sorts of great things for the kingdom. Some probably ill-advised, right? But that's where you get better. You learn.
I have to have the biggest house in Louisiana. Have you seen how big my house was? Now, I'm not saying this happened, but just the other day, a gentleman was walking by my fence, that big high wall I have out in front of my giant house, and he
Look.
threw a bag of $100,000 over that fence. Can you believe that, Joshua Wooten? I have the biggest house in Louisiana. That stuff still.
But being in the flesh, that doesn't matter.
And again-
like in the flesh, it matters though,
and
dude.
again-
As much as I know how pointless that is, I am the first guy that thought to myself today, I miss my motorcycle.
I feel you.
Right? And that would be frivolous, stupid, not intelligent, dumb to do, not a thing I should be doing. So the flesh is tough, man.
No, I get you.
So we
struggle with it
have
every
to be
day.
forgiving
As
of
I
that.
keep moving forward with my path and my walk and having that relationship, I understand more and more it's not my place to even worry about that for someone else.
Yeah.
But I'm still, again, we're working on it.
Flesh is tough.
This is a good talk, though, man. Ran a little long, but appreciate you.